Bad news for Barcelona fans. Just days after the painful El Clasico defeat, the injury storm continues to hit Hansi Flick's side. Superstar midfielder Pedri has now been ruled out for up to 4 to 5 weeks after suffering a muscle injury. According to reports from Mundo Deportivo and RAC1, Pedri will miss key games against Elche, Club Brugge and Celta Vigo, adding to Barca's already worrying injury list that includes Gavi, Raphinha, Ter Stegen and Christensen. Meanwhile, there's finally some good news as Dani Olmo, Robert Lewandowski, and Joan Garcia are close to returning, a much-needed boost for Flick's injury-hit squad. Stay tuned as we break down what this means for Barcelona's season and how Flick plans to cope without Pedri in midfield. Report reveals the games that Pedri is set to miss for Barcelona due to his recent injury. The hits keep on coming for FC Barcelona, and it seems that when it rains it pours when it comes to bad news. After the recent loss to Real Madrid in El Clasico, there was an understanding that the team needs to now work their way up from rock bottom. Unfortunately, another big case of misfortune seems to hit the team and any such hopes. As confirmed by Mundo Deportivo, Barca star midfielder Pedri has now suffered a muscular injury and will likely miss the upcoming 3 games. The first game would be the one against Elche in La Liga, but he would not have played in that game irrespective of the injury due to his suspension. After that game, he is now also expected to miss the games against Club Brugge in the UEFA Champions League and against Celta Vigo in La Liga. Irrespective of the opponents, all of these are important games for Hansi Flick's side. Already 5 points behind Real Madrid in La Liga and having lost a game in the Champions League, there is simply no more room for any kind of errors. With the Barcelona star now sidelined, however, others will need to step up in his place. Frenkie de Jong, without question, will become the leading midfielder, and others such as Fermin Lopez, Marc Casado, and even Marc Bernal will need to step up and try to fill the void left by Pedri. Just in, Barcelona key midfielder out for 4 to 5 weeks after suffering muscle injury. In a concerning development, journalist Marta Ramon of RAC1 reports that Barcelona superstar Pedri has suffered a muscle injury. The midfield maestro did not train with the rest of the group today and worked individually inside the gym. It was initially believed that the reason behind his working by himself was his suspension for the weekend game versus Elche. However, as per the report, Pedri is dealing with a muscle injury and began specific recovery work in the gym today after feeling discomfort stemming from last Sunday's Clasico, a match he finished exhausted and from which he was sent off for a second yellow card. When will Pedri return? As per the RAC1 report, there is no clarity regarding the duration of absence for Pedri from the muscle injury. However, according to journalist Adria Albits, the Barcelona mainstay could be out for a period of 4 to 5 weeks due to the problem. It would mean that Pedri, who was already set to miss this weekend's match against Elche due to suspension, will also be unavailable for the next 2 fixtures before the international break: Club Brugge in the Champions League and Celta Vigo in La Liga. The midfielder's recovery will dictate if he can make back in time for the games against Athletic Club and Chelsea in the week after the international break. His absence adds to the already significant list of injuries, which includes Raphinha, Gavi, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen and Andreas Christensen. Looking ahead to Sunday, Hansi Flick hopes to recover Robert Lewandowski, while Dani Olmo and Joan Garcia are also closing in on a return. Pedri's absence, though, will be a huge blow, considering he has been a permanent fixture in the middle of the park for Flick this term and has started all of the team's 13 matches this season. Barcelona will try to bring in a forward next summer to cover for the expected absence of Robert Lewandowski. What is less certain is how much of a budget they will have to find that replacement. The veteran forward, now aged 37, is out of contract next season, and the consensus is that Barcelona will not offer him an extension. Diario AS do say that the number 9 position is set to be the priority for Director of Football Deco next summer, but that the club are looking at more affordable targets. The veteran option from the Bundesliga. Harry Kane is reportedly one of Barcelona's dream transfer targets, but the move seems highly unlikely given his high market value and long-term contract with Bayern Munich until 2027. Despite being 33, Kane remains one of Europe's top strikers, but financially the deal would be out of Barca's reach. Instead, Hansi Flick is said to be a strong admirer of Serhou Guirassy, the Borussia Dortmund striker who has been in outstanding form this season. At 29, Guirassy could be a more realistic option, and his goal-scoring record makes him an appealing target. However, Dortmund are reportedly demanding around €65 million, and it's uncertain whether Barcelona can afford to spend that amount given their current financial restrictions. La Liga's promise. The other option named by AS is Levante forward Carl Eda Ayon. The Cameroonian was on Barcelona's radar before he made the €3 million switch from Villarreal, although the Yellow Submarine retained 50% sell-on fee and a buyback option. The 22-year-old is in his first full season in La Liga, and has 6 goals and 3 assists in his first 10 games, averaging a goal contribution every 90 minutes during his appearances with Villarreal and Los Granotas. The dream, Tat. Alongside Kane, amongst the names that Barcelona would love to compete for if they had the money are 2 forwards that have enamored President Joan Laporta. Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez and Manchester City's Erling Haaland have been on Barcelona's radar for some time, but currently look like impossible moves due to their salary limit issues. Injured Barcelona playmaker will test himself in group training today ahead of Elche clash. According to a fresh update from Carlo Montfort of Sport, Barcelona midfielder Dani Olmo has made an encouraging step forward in his recovery, returning to light training on the pitch. The 27-year-old is expected to take part in group training today, after which his fitness and sensations will be assessed to determine if he is ready to make a full return. Olmo picked up a calf injury earlier this month while on duty with the Spanish national team, and the problem worsened during training, forcing him to miss Barcelona's last 2 matches. Determined to recover swiftly, the midfielder has been working tirelessly to regain his match sharpness and help the team in the coming fixtures. Fortunately, Barcelona's clean week without midweek games has given Olmo the breathing space he needs to recover without being rushed back into action. The club hopes he can be available for the upcoming weekend clash against Elche, which would mark an important boost for Hansi Flick's side after a tough run of results. Yesterday we reported that Barcelona are increasingly concerned about Olmo's fitness record. In fact, sporting director Deco met with the player's agent to discuss the midfielder's recurring injuries and set out a clear roadmap to manage his recovery more effectively going forward. Olmo's fitness record has been particularly worrying because since 2021, he has suffered 11 separate injuries, mostly muscular, which have collectively kept him sidelined for 377 days. Over the last 4.5 seasons, he has missed 85 of 252 potential matches, meaning he has been unavailable for nearly 34% of games across club and international duty. At Barcelona alone, the figures remain concerning: 17 matches missed in his debut campaign, and the 2025-26 season has only just begun. Barcelona are optimistic that Dani Olmo's recovery could finally be a turning point for both the player and the team. His creativity, movement and versatility are key components in Hansi Flick's tactical setup, and his return could inject much-needed energy into the side. After their draining El Clasico defeat, the squad looked mentally and physically exhausted, and with several players, including Ferran Torres, Lamine Yamal and Jules Koundé, still struggling to reach full fitness, the injury situation has been a major setback. However, there's some good news for the Blaugrana. Flick himself will return from suspension this week, ready to lead the team again. Barcelona will host Elche, one of La Liga's surprise packages this season, led by former Barça assistant Eder Sarabia. It's a crucial moment for the Catalans to regroup, recover key players and reignite their push in both La Liga and the Champions League. Robert Lewandowski and Joan Garcia closing in on return. On Tuesday, Diario has reported that Robert Lewandowski was on course to return against Elche this weekend. He completed training after missing the best part of 3 weeks. There is also optimism over the meniscus problem that Joan Garcia suffered in September. Flick's starting goalkeeper could be back in time to face Elche, although the hope is that he will be fit to face Club Brugge next Wednesday. Dani Olmo back training on Wednesday. The following day, Pedri remained in the gym, as his suspension requires him to rest against Elche. Spain teammate Dani Olmo was back out on the grass on Wednesday, and has not returned to group work. Sport explained that Pau Cubarsí and Marcus Rashford were both absent with the club's permission, with the latter back in his native Manchester. Dani Olmo could make his return to action this weekend, but given his history with injuries, Barcelona are likely to handle his comeback with extra care. While Fermín López has been one of the few bright spots for Barca this season, the team clearly missed Olmo's creativity and sharpness during the El Clasico loss. If Olmo, Robert Lewandowski and Joan Garcia all return, it would be a massive boost for Hansi Flick, especially since Raphinha, Ter Stegen, Gavi and Christensen are still unavailable. Unfortunately, the latest setback is that Pedri will now be out for several weeks, adding to Barcelona's growing list of injuries and making Flick's job even tougher in the coming matches. Barcelona fans, it's a tough moment, but every challenge brings a new opportunity. With Pedri sidelined, this is the perfect time for young stars like Fermín López, Marc Casado and Marc Bernal to step up and prove their worth. As for the future, Reports suggest Deco and Flick are already planning for next summer's transfer window, targeting a new forward and exploring potential options like Sergio Guirassy and Carl Ayong. We'll keep you updated on every twist in Barcelona's injury and transfer saga. So don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video to stay up to date with all the latest Barca news.